What's going on, everybody? I'm Keith.
And I'm Daniel.
And today, we're going to be analyzing a classic film that helped shape the way we make movies today.
And that movie is King Kong 1933 version.
This movie really did help set the standards for modern filmmaking. It had great effects, an original story, and had some pretty memorable characters as well.
I couldn't agree more. Even though it's dated and the effects look like pretty silly at times, it's one of my favorites.
My friend, you are thinking with the mind of an ignorant 12-year-old.
Hey, fuck you! I grew up on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you right-wing loony.
Duly noted. But I can still agree that this is one of my favorite movies as well. And I also think that this is one of the best movies ever made.
So let's analyze this classical masterpiece, starting with the plot.
Now, the plot of this movie is very original, at least for its time. It's a movie about a movie director who wants to shoot a movie on some unknown island and drags a woman named Ann Darrow with him.
It's money and adventure and fame. It's the thrill of a lifetime and a long sea voyage that starts at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Where she gets kidnapped by a gorilla who falls in love with her.
I find it amazing that they take the simple concept of bringing someone to an island with a man-eating gorilla and make it so complex and deep. I was just expecting the big hairy bastard to eat the bitch, but after a while he actually falls in love with her. That has to be the first for a monster, and let's agree every other movie after this has basically copied this.
Certainly they have. The 1976 remake, for starters, went further and made the woman fall for the gorilla. Which is a really stupid-ass concept. I'm glad wasn't in this version. As a matter of fact, it makes the story kinda sad that the woman doesn't fall for the gorilla. The gorilla loves her, but doesn't get her affection back. When he dies at the end, he dies trying to protect something that doesn't love him back. Pretty goddamn deep if you ask me. The plot of King Kong was both original and intriguing, and still intrigues people to this day.
It was beauty killed the beast. Beauty.
I agree. Now let's focus on the actors and the characters they portray. Now Ann Darrow, this character is basically a damsel in distress. She gets on the island, gets captured, gets back to New York, she gets captured again. How many times is she had to get captured by the same fucking monkey? I mean, my god. Well, I digress. Her acting is pretty good for being captured, and it's very convincing.
Well, that's the idea that her character is a damsel in distress. The gorilla takes her and the crew has to go after her. When she gets away from him, he follows her and gets taken to New York. So she's supposed to be a damsel in distress, and her actress does a pretty damn good job at portraying her as just that. Though maybe she screams just one too many times.
Now Jack Driscoll. This guy has some big balls, maybe even bigger than King Kong. The woman he loves gets captured, and what does he do? He goes through a jungle filled with dinosaurs to get the woman he loves back. And after he takes her back to civilization, the monkey still comes after her. But that doesn't even stop him. He still goes after her. I mean, my god, that takes heart and courage. And the actor that portrays him pulls it off so well.
Well, I've never been on one with a woman before.
I guess you don't think much of women on ships, do you?
No, they're a nuisance.
Yes, Jack certainly is a pretty brave character, even going as far as to enter Kong's lair. He's apparently based on one of the directors, Ernest B. Schoedsack, and I can certainly see the similarities. And I definitely prefer this Jack Driscoll over Adrian Brody's. Then there's Carl Denham. My god, I love this guy. He's a movie director who'd walk up to a lion and ask it to look pretty.
They say he ain't scared of nothing. If he wants a picture of a lion, he just goes up to him and tells him to look pleasant.
He's got balls, and he's crazy, but he's also very charismatic.
Oh, I see. No, you've got me wrong. This is strictly business.
And unlike Jack Black's Carl Denham, when Anne gets captured, he says, "Fuck the movie, we've gotta go and get her." But he still has that touch of greed in him.
We're millionaires, boys! I'll share it with all of you!
Yes, and I think that greed blinds him. Like everybody. But that doesn't mean he doesn't care about the people around him. Like you said, he basically said, "Fuck this movie, we gotta go save the girl." But of course, he'll still take any chance he'll get to make quick cash.
But even so, he still is a hell of a lot more likable than Jack Black's Carl Denham.
Yeah, he wasn't that great, was he?
Certainly not. But let's not bicker about the characters now. Let's concentrate on what brought our titular character to life. The special effects.
I agree.
King Kong was stop-motion animated, but for 1933 these effects were pretty damn good. Even today these effects are still pretty damn good. You almost kind of wonder, how did they do this back in 1933? These effects are way ahead of their time.
I agree, but did you know that they made a giant mechanical arm to make the scenes where Kong holds her? This was also ahead of its time. And tricky. They had to make sure that the hand grabs her and not crushes her.
Really? Well, thank God that all worked out. And as for the stop motion, it was all done by Willis O'Brien. Him and his team did a superb job. The dinosaurs, everything is well animated. The T-Rex fight, holy crap, that must have been a handful. But the most detail goes into Kong himself. Willis O'Brien put a lot of himself into Kong, which gave him more character. Willis's wife told Ray Harryhausen that she saw a lot of him in Kong.
Well, that's all interesting, but they are old effort. They are good. Don't get me wrong. They are amazing. But to me, a person in 2011, it seems kind of outdated. I mean, the 2007 version King Kong I thought was pretty good. Even better than the 1933 version.
The minds of ignorant 12-year-olds are disturbing.
Hey, fuck you, you ignorant piece of shit!
Likewise. But let's not continue talking about the special effects. Let's move on to the musical score. Dick.
Asshole!
The score of King Kong was composed by Max Steiner. The score of King Kong is among one of the best. I really like the big drum beats and thunder-like roars of the score. When Kong first appears, it's quiet at first, then gets thunderous when he shows his face. During the encounters with the dinosaurs, the score is scary and suspenseful. I especially like these scores as they send chills down my spine. I'd say this score is up there with Jurassic Park and The Terminator.
Well, I thought it was a great score, but you're missing the point. You're comparing King Kong to The Terminator. That's like comparing two dogs of the same height. They're both great movies, how can you compare them back together? It's impossible.
Well, I really beg to differ. This score is perfectly comparable to newer scores. It doesn't matter if they're from different times, this score still is up there with the other scores we all know and love. Age doesn't mean shit. A score from 1933 is just as good as a score from the 90s.
Something you will never understand, my dear old friend. Right. Well, anyway, we gotta wrap up this review now. We'll start with our final verdicts.
King Kong is a classical masterpiece that helps set the standard for modern filmmaking, and it's easy to see why. Five out of 5 maple leaves.
Well, I thought it was good, and indeed a classic. If you're looking for a great movie, this is the movie. I'm giving King Kong 4 out of 5 maple leaves.
Well, that's it for today, everybody. See you next time.
See you later, everybody.
Okay, dude, I still don't get why you don't like the special effects so much.
I don't care. They're very old and generic.
Well, they're pretty goddamn good. Like, why don't you just fucking... you know, there's no hope for you.
Fuck you, dickhead.